A little bit about how we are structured. I'm hired by a couple of different entities. Tom has hired me before. I get hired by I can be chosen by a director, I can be chosen by a production designer, but mostly a production manager or an executive producer is going to call me in the early stages of getting a project, where they've either gotten my name off the website or they've called the film office and said, who are the available location managers here? And I get a script. They send me a script and they ask me to take a look at it, and in the area that I know, Georgia, determine what is the best place to go make the film. Typically we have a 30-mile zone in Atlanta, and when right now the most percentage of people calling, they want to stay within that zone. So I will determine initially kind of a path that we might pursue based on the zone. And I think probably as a camera ready, have you gone over the zone with them? It's we have 30-mile zones from production offices or another designated area that people other than me determine. But I will generally work within a zone, or if for something they call, like for Iowa or a beach, then the beaches obviously are in Savannah and Brunswick, Jekyll, those places, or Iowa is in Valdosta and Perry. You know, you advise, I'll write an advisement to usually our production manager about where we're going to, where would be the best place to look. And then I go scout. I start off as just a basic scout, doing research, working with the local communities. I worked with Pam last week, working with her. I'm scouting for a school right now. So the Camera Ready program was really helpful to me in having a local government contact that knew who the school system contacts were, who could make that call, give the credibility that this was a good project and good people to work with, that this just wasn't somebody calling off the street. I'll set up an appointment and go and take photographs. And these days, I set up a website where we don't print pictures anymore and put together folders like in the old days. And I will set up a website and start uploading location photographs to the website for viewing. And then after a few days or a few weeks, directors and producers will come in and they'll want to go take a scout. So we'll choose from the website the photographs that they like the best, kind of put them into that logistical zone that they like, and we go out and begin visiting locations, and from that we'll choose. And at that point, usually I'll have a smaller staff that will join me, and we will begin the process of logistically putting the contract paperwork together and all of the other things that go with making a location functioning as a movie set, the permits, the parking, the utilities, the catering areas, the production parking areas, the production staging areas for extras. All of those fall within my organization in putting together. And it's quite a large job. I enjoy it very much. I've done it a long time. But I can't, you have to have the help of a local community contact, and you have to have the openness of a local community or a location in order for it to work.
And it really is something that, our business, I've been in the office for over 10 years now, and I think over the past 2 or 3 years I've seen more film and television production happening in parts of the state that rarely if ever saw it before. I've seen more of that in the past couple of years than I've ever seen. And that's a direct result of all the business we're getting here at the moment. And you can imagine all the movies and TV shows that Hollywood puts out. I mean, they all need different kinds of locations. And so, you have to go. We're discovering parts of the state that I had never seen before, and that can stand in for, we're talking about Iowa, we're talking about the beach. We had a Zombieland, if anybody saw that, was shot down in Valdosta a couple of years ago or so. And of course, Savannah gets a lot of things, and Disney's going to be shooting some in Albany pretty soon. So It really is all over the place now. But what I wanted to ask, you started touching on that a minute ago about, it's one thing to find a beautiful location or one that fits the script really well, but I was wondering if you could comment on what else you look for in the location logistically, like when you're thinking about actually bringing a production there, what you look for.
I've in the past 2 years, I just returned where I spent 7 months down in Brunswick, Georgia. 2 years ago, I was down in Perry, Georgia, and that's our program has allowed filmmakers to really look statewide and to go statewide because of that. And it's really like when I get a script, if it's not set in the Atlanta area, it's very easy to just say, well, where are we going to go? And so I've had an opportunity to look in. I've been in Albany in the past 2 months. I've been I spent a lot of time up north on a project a few years ago that we did called A Walk in the Woods that never happened. But now when the scripts are coming in, we're not so limited. We can, like, say if it's set in the mountains, well, let's go to Blairsville, or let's go to Helen, or if it's set in a college town that has a cool looking area, we can go over to Athens. Brunswick was a delight to be in. Going down there, hotels and infrastructure is very important. Restaurants are very important when you look to going into those areas where you are going to bring a crew base with you. Those typically are not the driving force for me. Those are more production issues that certainly I have to consider. But in looking at a location, it is the full package. Do we have a place to base from? Do we have enough hotels? Do we have enough services in a community where we can go in and base there, and go from there in terms of looking for the beach, or looking for the cornfield, or looking for the mountain trail? Those are very important. Do we have access? I mean, what sort of roads are available? But typically what's the most important thing for me is the location. I don't think I would last very long, Tom, if I got a location that you couldn't drive a truck to. So,
that has happened.
I've built a road or two in my day to get to a location. But services and certainly community openness. It's if you thought of bringing a project, and even the smallest projects these days are several $1 million. If you thought of bringing a project that has several $1 million attached to it to a community that was not going to be the right community for that place to be, you have to consider that. So it really is, for me, it's great fun right now to be here, because you can, like I said, you can look in the Valdostas and the Perrys and the Brunswicks and find these very great, unique locations that have never been shot before, and that's always exciting, and go into those communities.
Yeah, it's something that you certainly want to find the great locations and ones that look great and fit in with the script. If you can, you also think about imagine a big movie company shooting there. We were talking about roads a minute ago, and building a road to the location. I mean, it helps if you can get to it. I mean, let's say you're something in the woods in the mountains or something, and you got to hike 5 miles to get to this beautiful waterfall. Well, that's great for you if you're a hiker, but how would equipment be brought there? I mean, it's just the kind of things to sort of think about when you're taking stock of what you have. Is a location really close to a busy road that's going to have to be shut down, and is it on a flight path? Just these things. When you're using Real Scout, you can actually put these notes into the field so that we know. There's an area where it's like a for your eyes only kind of notes field, where the folks in Hollywood don't know it, but we know it. That say, hey, this might be an issue to watch out for, and just keep it in mind.
Well, another thing in dealing with communities that I have found, I'll oftentimes call a community and say, we're looking for a house, we're looking for a school, and I think it's very important, and I think one of the things great about this program is that what may be a great looking house, or what may be a great looking school, or a great looking street, has to also have a lot of other things to accompany it. It has to be filmable, and filmable means controllable. It has to have more than one angle with the camera. You know, you can, oftentimes we get these pictures that look fantastic, and then, but that one frame or that one angle is really the only thing that they have. But you know, film is a moving medium, and we have, it shoots 360. So I think it's important that the locations that when someone like me calls for your help, that we think about the whole environment of a location. A city street, if we have a town scene where we need to shoot a town, is that town going to be open to letting us close down streets, and are the businesses going to be amenable to negotiating with us to allow us to stop their businesses for a day or two? You know, no one should ever lose their livelihood to accommodate a film. I mean, it's a negotiating thing, but is that sort of spirit of the community there? Those are all things that are critical to a community being able to handle a film, is that being able to have those inconveniences and that sort of imposition and tolerate it very well. And also to have locations that are filmable, that have the look, that have the control, that aren't in flight lines, aren't next to interstates, and to know the owners of properties when sending pictures.
And this is something that we hope, the way that the Camera Ready program is structured, that you have a Camera Ready liaison who's the point person, but around that person is a network of people that can help with everything from photography, as I mentioned earlier, to these logistical questions about road closures, about who's the DOT person, who's the police chief, who's the fire chief, who's, you know, all these folks that are needed logistically with, they're going to need to be contacted regarding one of these shoots. And so, you know, for us, it's easier for you on the local